Welcome to the Vault of the Living Night. Part 1. The Moonlit House in Cârța. October 18th, 1897. Carpathian wind steady, no clouds. Moon swollen beyond reason. Two men travel through the village of Cârța, Romania. A place neither of them had seen on any map still printed with ink, only in the margins of hand-drawn hunting logs from centuries prior. The elder Jonas Vale, once a priest before exile. The younger, Nico, apprenticed hunter and bastard son. Their boots drag lines across frost-bitten soil as they near a chapel consumed by weeds tall enough to whisper. Inside, there's not prayer, only rot and the smell of burnt honey. The villagers say it used to be a Carmelite monastery before the river changed course and drowned its foundations. But locals don't mention the structure behind it, half-eaten by forest. The Moonlit House, where windows glow though there are no lamps inside. Nico pauses. He writes in his notes that every time he looks toward the treeline, he feels his pulse hesitate, as if the night syncs its breathing with his own. Jonas laughs, brittle. He's felt that before, he says. In Vienna, before a nest burned under the opera house. You never catch them in daylight, he whispers. You only follow where warmth refuses to stay. They reach the gates just as mist erupts from the ground, milky and soundless. Jonas presses a hand to the rusted iron and feels a vibration. The mist is breathing. Inside the decayed courtyard, statues of saints have no faces, eroded, melted, or taken. The ground glistens faintly under moonlight, though no dew has fallen. Nico kneels and touches it. His fingers come back red. Not blood thicker like resin, still warm. Around them, bats hang not from trees but from the walls. Motionless, eyes open. Watching. In the distance, a door opens by itself. Not pushed, but pulled inward, as if by a house longing to breathe in what has come to kill it. Jonas murmurs a prayer in Latin, one his old order forbade after the Schönbrunn purge. Nico almost asks about it, but the moment he turns toward his mentor, Jonas's pupils dilate so wide they swallow the reflection of their silver lantern. From beyond the door, music, a low violin note stretched until it sounds like something forced through ribs. Nico steps forward before realizing the melody repeats every 13 seconds. Clipped, mechanical, not live, recorded on something, old, cracked, echoing against empty halls. The diary notes grow erratic here, ink splattered by jittering hand. Lines slant downward, sentences incomplete. One ends mid-stroke, she isn't re. Inside the moonlit house, light behaves wrong. It doesn't illuminate, it smolders. Dust dances not upward but sideways, as though the gravity of something unseen draws breath nearby. Their lanterns distort, lenses fogging with interior condensation though the air is bone dry. At the threshold, Nico's journal records that he saw shadows climbing the walls. Not cast by them, but moving independently, tracing shapes of bodies hanging upside down, twitching. Jonas tells him to mark every step. 1 foot over the dead, 1 over the remembered. But his voice wavers. On a table inside the main room lies a dinner setting untouched since at least a century. The plates, porcelain smooth, yet beneath the glaze are trapped fingerprints, fossilized in perfect spiral patterns. One goblet is half filled with something dark and granular. When Nico angles the light, it glimmers, crystallized blood. Then a sound higher up, the faint rhythmic scrape of bare feet on wood. Measured, gentle, listening back. Jonas cocks his revolver, loaded with silver dust. But they realize no echoes. Their own steps make no return, like the house swallows sound. What descended in that next moment is marked only in black ink, replaced with a line drawn so heavy it tore through the next 3 pages. The final word visible before the gouge reads, "She smiled through his throat." Jonas drops the lantern. The flame kneels sideways, not upward, then extinguishes as though devoured by something exhaling hunger. Nico writes that he saw her then, not her as in a woman, but the silhouette of one, suspended near the rafters. The body moved weightlessly, head tilted, hair floating like smoke underwater. What struck him hardest wasn't the face, it was the teeth. Not fangs, but rows of thin glass needles that refracted the low light until it seemed the air itself was bleeding light. When she opened her mouth, the room responded. Chairs dragged themselves an inch closer. The pianola at the far wall struck by itself. One key over and over like a pulse trying to match theirs. Jonas stepped forward despite trembling knees, lifting his revolver, the silver dust cartridge glowing faintly. His whisper entered the air like smoke through cold water. "Sancti Umbri." The apparition drifted closer, and the temperature crashed. Nico's breath crystallized midair. The ink in his notebook froze to lacquer between words. He saw Jonas's revolver jam. It clicked, misfired, hissed. Then Jonas looked at him, not with fear, but with recognition. "She's not feeding," he murmured. "She's remembering." The entity moved through Jonas, not striking him, inhabiting. His body stiffened, his pupils inverted to pale moons. His voice layered twice, his and hers combined, chanting words that rippled through Nico's lungs. Every reflection in the room, glass, mirror, the sheen on polished wood, performed the same act at once, showing Jonas kneeling before something that wasn't there. And in each reflection, he was the one smiling through his own throat. The air thickened until Nico could no longer hear his heartbeat, only hers. And it wasn't inside the house anymore. It was behind his eyes. He fired the weapon blindly. The diary describes the flash, the briefest flare of silver dust forming a ring like a lunar eclipse. For a split second, everything was visible. The entire room stuffed with suspended figures, hundreds, hanging like puppets. The walls were made of people, their skins stretched into wallpaper, eyes blinking beneath the plaster. Then the light collapsed. When Nico woke, he was outside. The moonlit house no longer stood. Where it should have been, there was only a square of scorched soil and a hollow shaped like an open mouth. Jonas's hat lay beside him, smoldering. Inside it, a single glass tooth. The remaining diary pages are warped by moisture. Each smells faintly of iron. The ink patterns pulse faintly when exposed to candlelight, forming shapes of circular sigils. When the NightHowl Archives recovered the journals in 1903, cryptographers under the Panoptic Division decoded fragments of Jonas's merged language. One phrase recurs: "The house was never built. It dreamt itself through memory." The glass tooth now rests inside containment box 7F, vacuum sealed and ringed by mercury trace. Every 29th day, the containment glass fogs from within, and a low hum fills the room like a woman humming behind a locked door. We at the archives conclude File 1037A with controlled silence. The field team that retrieved the object reported auditory anomalies for 13 subsequent days, whispers reciting phrases only they previously wrote. None survived past the next full moon. The Moonlit House does not stand. It reconstructs wherever the last witness remembers it. To think of it too long is to give it walls. To read its name aloud is to give it a door. This file is sealed under Protocol Vitris 13. The house remains cognitive. Its teeth are dreaming still. Part 2. The Corridor That Never Ends.